everybody. Welcome back to the Power of Care podcast. I'm your host, Brianna Dance, and today, y'all, I have a friend and amazing businesswoman, Ebony Gordon. Hey, girl.
Hey, everybody.
So, y'all, Ebony was my cosmetologist when I was an undergrad at Hampton. And she started her business, HAIRISTA, which stands for Hair is the Accessory. I love that because it really is.
Yeah,
It's like when we walk in the room, we see hair.
absolutely. You can accept
Yeah.
with it.
And you can accessorize. And so, Ebony, you launched this in 2014. Well, you LLC'd it in 2012.
Yes.
What made you want to become a hairstylist? Because you went to Hampton as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what inspired you to jump right in?
Which is so funny because I did not know how to do hair before I went off to college. And I was always so used to going to the salon to get my hair done. You know, it's like a rite of passage for a young Black girl, as we all know, to grow up in the
Mhm.
salon culture. So I was in the salon every 2 weeks from when I was a child all the way up through college. And when I went off to college, my parents were like, look, you going to the salon every 2 weeks is no longer going to be your reality. So you better figure something out. So I always say that I credit my career so much to YouTube as like the beginning because
Mhm.
that's when YouTube tutorials and like beauty influencers before influencer was like really a thing started to really gain a lot of traction. So it became one of those things like a survival of the fittest, right? Because now I'm off to college. You already know as a fellow Hamptonian that we don't play about our aesthetic, how we look. And I said, oh, they're not going to leave me off of bad and bougie and my hair's not done. So I said, okay, I'm going to learn on YouTube. So I learned and I guess I was able to pick it up. And next thing I knew, I would get so many compliments on campus that I said, I can do your hair. I'll do yours too. And so then I just started putting up flyers in the dorms and then it just snowballed after that. So then as a business major, I started doing research and realized this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. I can really give me a piece of this somehow. So even throughout Hampton, I really did not plan on doing hair. That was just kind of like my little side thing. And then as I graduated, I said, well, maybe I can go ahead and get my cosmetology license right after graduation. You know, I had really planned to go to grad school, but hair just kind of took over. And one thing led to the next, and I ended up opening my business and then opened another business and started a product line. So it's just birthed so many beautiful things that I did not anticipate initially. So that's how I got started. I was, a lot of hairstylists say, "Oh, I've been doing hair for since I was 13." No, that was not me.
Wow, your story was not that. Like, it
Mhm.
sounds like it was not a part of your plan. Like, you literally went to Hampton. Are you from the 757 area?
No, so I'm originally from Gary, Indiana. And then I went to high school. I finished middle school and high school in Connecticut, in Danbury, Connecticut. And then I came here to Hampton for Hampton University, and I have been here ever since.
You stayed.
I did for a brief moment. I started working for actually Rihanna's hairstylist at the time. Her name is Ursula Stevens. She has a salon in Brooklyn. So I did get like a little temporary apartment. I was working there for a full year straight on the weekends. So my plan was to relocate 100% to Brooklyn. And the same month that I was going to make that move, I was then brought the opportunity to purchase the salon here in Virginia. And so I just prayed about it and said, you know what? I guess I'll stay in Virginia a little longer and see what happens. And the rest is history.
What? And now look at you now. You're a business owner, you have products, you're a wife, you got a child. I mean, so
Yeah.
much happened in Virginia for you. And it started, at Hampton, it sounds like, where you were just like, huh, let me learn, let me get on YouTube and figure out how to do my hair. And
Mm-hmm.
then once you did it, you built a clientele, which we know when you go to a HBCU, like you said, it is important for us to figure out an affordable way to look nice and to make money.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's where
Wow.
it started from right there.
That's where it started. And so tell me about your a little bit about that experience working for Rihanna's hairstylist, Ursula. Like you were in Brooklyn. They always say if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere, right? So tell me
Yeah.
about your experience there.
It was absolutely like a pivotal moment in not only my like professional career, but just in like my personal development because yes, I had just gone through college and that was fantastic, but now it was like I'm really a full-blown adult making decisions for myself. So I knew that I was used to Virginia, but I don't know if you stayed in Virginia much longer after you graduated from Hampton, but your experience as a student versus like a local is
Right.
totally different. So now I'm like, figuring out life a little bit. And when that opportunity came up for New York, I said, wow, this is really like a big girl move. But I wasn't
Yeah.
ready to like fully commit. So that's why and it's funny, at the time, Craigslist was like the Airbnb um,
Mhm.
that we have today, which makes me feel a little old saying that. But I found this lady that was renting out a room in her house for like part-time use on Craigslist. So I rented out a room and I was able to stay there, every weekend for a whole year. So with that, I was now in this like Brooklyn culture every weekend and I loved it so much. Like,
Mm,
not only did I learn a lot from, like I said, in the professional side, but on the personal side, like I really felt like I found myself during that year. It was really amazing for me and much deeper than I thought it would be. And I learned so much,
mm.
so much from customer service to working with celebrities to, working in a commission based industry. It was fulfilling for sure.
Wow, wow. So did you ever imagine or like what point did you say, "You know what? I want my own studio." Like when did that become even a thought in your brain?
It's so funny because honestly, it wasn't until it came to me, like
Mm,
my mentor that was here at the salon that I was working for in Hampton, Virginia, was ready to like get out of the business and presented me an offer. And I said, "Oh, I hadn't thought about that," you know?
yeah.
Um, and because honestly, like I said, doing hair wasn't like a even though I had started my own business on campus and I was doing really well for myself like right after college, I just figured I'll do this for a little while and I'm still going to go back to grad school. So I didn't have like this plan like, oh, I'm going to be a salon owner. That was
Right,
not my thing. It wasn't until she came to me and then I started putting my research cap on like, okay, well, what does that look like? So
right.
I had been seeing her do it. I saw Ursula do it, but I just didn't put myself in that space. So once it was presented to me, I started researching it and I said, oh, okay, maybe I'll do that for a couple years. And now it's been 10 years.
It's your 10-year anniversary.
Yes.
That is amazing. Y'all, so I was one of her clients and oh my goodness, she took so much good care of my hair. So I like to play with color. I think you were the first person that ever created clip-ins for me. And
Oh,
my life changed. I said, "Oh, this is it."
uh-huh. Yes.
And it was just I really missed her when I moved back to Maryland, which is where I'm from. And at the time, I remember you even traveling. You were because I remember being like, okay, maybe when she comes to DC, I can like I think you
Hmm.
were going in like hotel. You were meeting your clients everywhere. And y'all, this woman works. She's a hustler and she puts in the work. And I just want to let you know that I mean you're missed. Okay. Me and my friend Taylor, we talk about you because you took care of us. And one thing I love about you, Ebony, is you play with color. Can we get into the color game? Okay.
Yes.
What you have like a mixture right now of what, like blonde and purple. I don't know if I'm using the right
Hmm. Yeah.
terms.
So
Okay.
I've been purple now for 10 years, which is funny too.
Mhm.
I experiment with all types of styles from my natural hair to clip-ins to sew-ins, now braids, which these are starting to get a little old. So that's why it has these like lighter pieces. It was purple, but
Yeah.
when you have boho, and you have to wet it and all of that, the color has kind of faded. So I ended up just embracing it for, the next couple weeks, because I
Mhm.
can't wait to now get to my homecoming hairstyle. That's what's next. So these are going to hold me
Ooh,
over until homecoming.
I can't wait. I'll be there. I will be in homecoming. Hopefully, I will run into you.
Absolutely, girl. We
But
out there.
we out here. So, wow. So, color, you usually hear the myth is like color is damaging, color is not good for you. However, what myths can we get rid of when it comes to color, and how can we take care of our hair when it's colored or dyed?
Yes, that is a very common myth that color is damaging. And honestly, it's not that color is damaging at all. There's
Mhm.
really two main factors that you have to keep in mind when getting color, or even just thinking about getting color. Is what was the current state of the health of your hair before getting the color, and how are you going to treat it, and what's going to be your new regimen after getting color. So I always tell people that color is truly a luxury service. So if you're not willing to put in the hard work to keep up this luxury, style,
Mhm.
its color is not for you.
Right.
There's no way that you can have color and then just use drugstore products to treat your hair. Though cuticle is open now, you have a lot more that has been done to your hair with chemical, because color is
Mhm.
essentially is a chemical. So you have to treat it differently. You have to be very delicate with it and be very mindful of the products that you're putting in it. It's just like with a car. You're not going to put regular gas in a Maybach
Mhm.
and expect for it to run. you know so you really have to use good quality products post color, and before you even get in the color, you need to make sure you're going to someone that understands that the integrity of your hair needs to be strong enough to even get the color in the first place.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good because thank you, because a lot of people want to explore and experiment, but
Mhm.
they may have that fear, but it's about how you do it. Being honest with yourself, it sounds like if you're a low maintenance girl, maybe this is not for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a
And the
high maintenance.
product,
Mhm.
would you say it's a high maintenance thing?
Yes, it's a high maintenance thing. Now, there's some people, I will say that the whole term of like ombre was probably the best thing that ever happened to the color industry, because now people were willing to embrace more, natural roots, and it can, fade into this two-tone look where you just have the color on the ends. So that was amazing for people that are like either financially they don't want to keep up with the color, or they realize it damaged their hair. So that, yeah.
No, that's so good because I'm actually listen, I love my stylist in Maryland. She has taken care of me since I left you
Oh,
10 years ago, and Tamika, and she what I love about her and people like you is that you care about the health of the
yes.
hair. So tell me like what you've learned as a licensed cosmetologist and a certified trichologist.
Mhm.
Tell me about like that health thing because we were talking earlier how it is like a science. You're mixing colors and chemicals and, trying to learn people's textures. So tell me what that's like when it comes to, especially, how people say, oh, I want what this person has and I want that. And sometimes it doesn't turn out, how exactly what they see or what we
Right.
see. So tell me
Mhm.
about that experience customizing.
Yeah. So, like you said, and it feels so good to hear like a current client, and especially a previous client, say that they took value in the fact that I, really care about the health of your hair, because that has definitely been like the foundation of my business since day one, is that I care about the health of the hair. And I definitely credit that a lot to the people that I learned from. So my mentor here, as well as Ursula, they put that at like the forefront. Yes, we want you to look good, but the health of the hair has to be first. So I have no problem with turning away someone if I know that whatever they're asking for is going to affect the health of their hair overall. So I really appreciate you, saying that, because I do. So with becoming a licensed cosmetologist, knowing that from day one the health of the hair was most important to me, I've tried to keep up with the hair industry and like products and product knowledge, and making sure that I'm staying with the trends of what the top ingredients are for not just adding moisture to the hair, but adding hydration, so that I can be educated so that now that I can educate my clients, because I always tell people this is a 50-50 relationship, me as your stylist. You know, you can't come into the salon, whether if that's every 2 weeks or once a month, twice a year, and expect like, oh, she's got my hair, you know, doing great or doing wrong. It's 50-50. You know, you have to do the work at home. So I have to make sure that I'm letting you know, look, this is the process here. And then at home, this is what you need to be doing, you know.
Mm.
So that has just been trying to keep up with the times with the health of the hair. Then venturing off into me becoming a trichologist, which I'm not yet certified, but I am in the process, and prayerfully that can be done by the end of next year. But with learning trichology, I've now realized that it's not just external. Trichology is 80 to 90% internal. So,
Wow.
with that, we really emphasize how important it is to manage your stress, how important it is to eat for your blood type, figuring out what like underlying health conditions that you may have that could be affecting your hair, making sure that you are supplementing any deficiencies that you have. So now it's like the two brought together really has put me in this space of like, if it is not benefiting to your hair, I don't want it, and I'm not suggesting it. I'm not recommending it. Especially now when it comes to products, like science-backed products have been everything to me,
Mm.
and I strongly recommend them to everyone. So yeah, it's 50-50
Yeah,
across
it's
the
I
board.
love that. It's not just, "Hey, you take care of my hair, you do it." It reminds me of like a doctor. You're another form of a, like, you know what I mean? Of a clinician in a way where you're like, you have to go home and actually do something too. It's not just one-sided.
Yes. Yeah, you
Wow.
can't, you know, and you hear that all the time. People are like, "Oh, I got this relaxer when I was 6, and you know, now my hair is this." While the relaxer may have damaged those follicles a little bit 20 plus years ago,
Right.
now there's different things that can be done to correct that. So we can't always just blame something on one experience or going to the salon, you know, quarterly or biweekly. You know, it's what you're doing at home and what you're also putting into your body.
That's something I don't think about, is what you consume. So I guess when it comes to hydration, because I know you have like a leave-in protein cream.
Mhm.
Like, when it comes to hydration, what tips do you have for people who feel like their hair is so dry and they want to kind of, is it too late for them? Is it too late for them to have moisturized hair?
No, it is never too late. It's absolutely never too late. The biggest thing is to figure out, you know, where did the damage and dryness initiate from, and then
Mm.
try to come up with a consistent plan to correct it. But if you can't figure out what the onset of that is, the next best thing is to say, okay, I'm going to start fresh. I'm going to have a reset. And a
Mm.
reset would be a true detailed haircut
Oh,
and implementing frequent trims. what
yes.
what that does is now the ends of your hair are open and your hair is able to actually absorb all the nutrients from the products that you're using. If you're
Yes.
putting product on, you know, on top of product on top of product and your ends are closed, it's doing nothing for your hair, you know.
Mm.
And it's so ironic that I have been saying this saying for ever. And then now that it happened, I'm like, wow, this is so crazy. I would tell people for years, I would be like, look, Beyonce could come out with $1 million hair care brand. And if your ends are closed, it's not doing anything for your hair. I promise you, I'm sure that there's
Mm.
plenty of clients that can tell you that I've been saying that to them for 100 years at this point. So
Right.
now, full circle moment, she does have a product line. And it's so
Yeah.
ironic that her product line is a science backed product line that
Mhm.
is all about peptides. And peptides is like a newer word in the hair care industry, probably within the last like 5, 7 years or so, where it's like very small molecules that is within the products and in the formula that is actually able to penetrate through the innermost most layer of your hair. Because we
Mm.
all see a strand of hair and you just think, oh, it's just a thin little strand of hair. But within the strand, we have multiple layers that's within it. And science backed product lines that have peptides, that is what's key to really feeding the hair with full hydration. So once you are trimming those ends and keeping it consistently trimmed, then you're using really quality based products to actually feed the hair. And you can only do that if the hair is trimmed and kept open on a consistent basis. Closed ends will
Wow.
get you nowhere.
Don't so we basically shouldn't be afraid to trim our ends
Oh no,
because
not
we
at all.
we need the products to go in there.
You needed to get in there. It's not going to
Yeah.
do anything if those ends are closed. You can, and like I said, I've been saying this saying for a million years at this point. You
And now look, Beyonce actually has a line.
And now, not only is it just any line, like the knowledge and research that has been put into that line
Mm,
is something that a lot of hair care brands are just now starting to catch on to. I've
mhm.
been telling people ever since her line came out earlier this year that Olaplex was like the pioneer of like bond building products, right?
Yes.
So bond building is also a newer term, but it means everything. And then what that's doing is building the bonds within your hair to keep the strength from the innermost layer, basically the inside out. So
Mm,
Olaplex was the first. I would say K18 was like right behind them, and then they took it a step further. And now Cecred, Beyonce's line, is literally like that perfect bond building product line, but it is available to consumers. Where Olaplex and K18, certain products for them are only professional based.
oh,
Beyonce's, you can just go on her on her website
mhm.
and order it. And it's funny because I've done content for Cecred at this point, and people are like, "Oh, people just are saying these things because it's Beyonce's line." And while that may be true from the beginning, I don't stand by anything. I don't care who created it,
Okay.
unless it's a really good line, and I really do stand by it for sure.
Wow. Even for no matter if you have colored hair or not, like
Oh yeah.
virgin hair.
Absolutely, because the science that's behind it is
Mhm.
really about creating strength internally within your strands so that you can have longevity in the health of your hair. So, color treated or version, relaxed, natural, curly, straight is great for everyone.
Wow. Well, shout out to Beyonce and her team and all the scientists that are creating the
Yeah.
formulas, the peptides, and all that. Thank you for educating us. And this is how it would feel, y'all, being in her chair. She really cares about the health of our hair. And
Mhm.
I need because I'm an ideas person when it comes, like, I can be kind of impulsive when I want to change.
Mhm.
However, I love when I have someone that cares about me and my hair and the longevity when they're like, you know what, let's do this in stages. Let's do this, like, come back and we'll lift it and we'll do this, So I appreciate you, Ebony, for caring.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And I really
Yeah.
appreciate that because I do care. And for somebody to notice it, it does mean the world. It makes you feel like, okay, I'm doing something right here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I encourage people to go get those trims, ladies and
Yes,
gents. Don't be afraid. No,
yes.
a trim myth, because I know we get scared. Sometimes some of us love to hold on to our length, right? Um, how often would you recommend, or is it depending on the client?
It's absolutely dependent on the client. There is no one size fits all regimen that I do across the board.
Okay.
My process may be similar, but it does adjust based on the client's hair, you
Okay.
know. But on average, I like to give a broader range because it really just depends if you're color treated, if you're natural, if you wear it out a lot, or if you wear it in protective styles. But anywhere between every 6 to 12 weeks,
Mm,
you shouldn't be going any longer than 12 weeks to
right.
get some sort of a trim. And my philosophy that I've also been saying forever is that the more often we trim, the less we have to take off each time. So if you're only getting it done twice a year, expect more of a haircut that is going to have a little more length to it that's measurable. If you're
Right.
coming and getting those consistent 6 to 12 weeks, the amount that I'm taking off is like not even enough to say that it was a real trim. It's more of a dusting. And what that's
Mm.
doing is just skimming the very ends of the hair, opening it up, making sure we're getting that off, and feeding it with the nutrients.
Wow, wow. It makes you wanna when you learn about the health, it kinda makes you wanna, like, really learn more and be like, "Okay, nutrients. Yeah, I guess just like my body and my skin and everything, I should think about my hair in the same way."
Absolutely. I've also always told people to think of your hair and the topic of trimming as you would think about like flowers, right? When you get flowers from the nursery or the grocery store or something like that, nine times out of 10, the flowers will have like a little packet in it that will say, in about 3 days, take the stems out, change the water, recut the stems, put in fresh food. It's not just
Mm,
because the water is murky and dirty looking, it's because now the stems have been sitting in this water and the ends have been closed. So it's not absorbing the nutrients that were in the water. So now you have to retrim the stems of the flowers, change the water, give it fresh water, put in fresh food so that now it's absorbed and your flowers will last longer. If you don't do that, expect for your roses to last 3 days.
mm.
When you do that, you can push it out maybe, a week or 2 weeks if it's getting proper light and all of that.
Wow. Wow. Y'all, she just preached a whole sermon. I don't even know if she did. But that was a word. Um, I mean, spiritually, I felt that. And then practically, I felt that
Mhm.
for our hair. And I think there's so much that I just appreciate cosmetologists so much. You guys, first of all, it's not easy work. It's something that we all need and feel like great after usually coming out of the chair and like going in feeling better about ourselves. But
Yes.
also you have been like a therapist. Like
Mhm.
sometimes like people are sitting in your chairs and like do you ever hear back from clients that you helped me through a tough time or I mean
Oh, yeah.
do you ever have stories like that?
Oh my gosh, yes, all the time. Whether if it was a tough time that they were experiencing with their hair or in their personal life.
Yeah.
We are definitely psychologists, and I do not take it lightly. And I also tell people, especially new people that think they want to do hair, like doing hair is so much deeper than just doing hair. Um,
Mm-hmm.
your your hair really means a lot. To the average person, it means so much. So, like, and it's funny because I had a client that told me this years ago in the very, very beginning of my career, and I didn't understand it. I'll be honest. I think I was naive and even a little ignorant at the
Mm-hmm.
time. But she was like, "Oh, I don't let everyone touch my hair. Like my hair is sacred. Like this is like, my temple." And I remember thinking, like, "Girl, it's not that deep, child. It's just your hair." But I was young, ignorant. I didn't know any better. But now within the industry, I said, this is an honor to
Mm-hmm.
do someone's hair because, like we say, when you look good, you feel good. But that goes even deeper. Like, some people, their hair is their identity. For some people, like, that's where they feel most beautiful or, connected to their heritage and their family. So for you to trust someone with your hair, like, as a stylist, we should really not take that for granted because they didn't have to come to you. And
Mm-hmm.
I make sure that I let the people know that you can trust me with your hair in your hand. Just like you mentioned before, you wouldn't go to just any doctor,
Mm-hmm.
or if you go to a doctor and realize that they're not keeping your best interests at heart, then you'll leave and go to someone else. So your hair is no different.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That is so it's an honor. That's how you know you're called to do it when you really see it as such a assignment and a gift.
Mhm.
Like I get to hold people's hair and like it means so much in different ways to people and it's a big responsibility, but you've been doing it for what 10 plus years and it's amazing. And so you have a daughter now. And so how is that? Like even like doing her hair, like how does that feel for you? Just I don't know, just taking care of her hair now.
Whew. Now, I'm not gonna lie. She is, and I love my daughter dearly, but she is my worst client ever. I'll just have to be honest.
Yep. That's real.
So, in full transparency, doing her hair is not easy. It is not
Yeah.
fun. I don't know if she's tender-headed or if she's just extra. She's definitely a drama queen, so it could be partially that. And then she's only 3, so
Yeah.
sitting still is not a part of her vocabulary. So for right now, no, I do not enjoy doing her hair. But maybe check back in maybe 5 years.
The
I
teen.
pray, yeah, I pray that she embraces it. But I will say, even though it is not fun for me, I make sure that I'm using quality products on her even now. Even with trimming, I honestly started trimming her hair when she was like 6 months old,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
everyone thought I was crazy. They were like, why are you trimming her hair? Why are you doing that to that baby? But I'm like, I understand what is going on with her hair. And she,
Mhm.
so a lot of people say that placenta perm, right? When you first have a
Mhm.
baby and their hair is like bone straight, but then their curl pattern starts to come in, and once that curl starts to come in, you'll start to see the hair change.
Yeah.
And for me, I figured, okay, if I just do little dustings, just trim off those ends, I'm actually able to let those nutrients absorb into her hair. Because then she went through a phase where her hair was dry,
Mhm.
so I do take pride in making sure that I'm using quality products on her. She does not appreciate it yet, but she
No,
will.
not yet.
No, she won't. She doesn't appreciate it at all. But she's getting all like quality products for sure.
That's so good. That's so good. I guess as we close, because this show is all about resilience and like sharing, how we've navigated challenging times and wellness, taking care of our hair is a part of that. So
Mm.
if you could share a story that of a time where you thought you weren't going to make it through something, but you made it, and what helped you and who helped, or what resources did you use to get through maybe that challenging time?
Whew, if that's not a a thing, honestly, I would say these last 4 years, since the pandemic, quite honestly, have been some of the most difficult years of my entire life. From navigating through the pandemic, navigating as a new wife, navigating as a new mom. I also lost my dad. I had to leave my first salon and move over to now at Hampton University, which has been a blessing. But and during that time, it was just so much. Like I never felt so low, and I felt defeated, and I felt like, am I doing something wrong? Am I not walking in my purpose? So many sleepless nights, so many moments of like questioning God, what is going on? But it's so ironic that doing hair, and I'm not just saying this, is not a cliche thing. You can ask any of my closest homegirls, they would tell you the same. But doing hair was like my outlet a little bit. Like, and maybe
Mhm.
that's the therapeutic side to the industry. But me going in and listening to other women share their stories, or my closest clients that I would share things with, they would always pour into me and feed me
Mhm.
with something that day I needed it. And I didn't realize I needed it until we had the conversation. And it was like, wow, you really just fed me. As I'm taking care of your hair, you just fed me. So my level of resilience was certainly through overcoming what I had in my personal life and helping others with their hair. And it was like a shared exchange of just compassion and, appreciation.
Mhm.
And then my girlfriends are those are my rocks. Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's just something about women and community and bonding that really has been like so pivotal in my life. And I'm not
Mhm.
just saying that. Like it's like me and my girlfriends just had like a little girls' night last night, and we laughed about it at the end, but we were like, y'all. But while we've been sitting here for 4 hours, we have literally laughed, we've cried, we've come to revelations about things, and that happens every time we're together. And I look
Mhm.
at my clients the same way. Some of them, not all of
Right.
them,
Well.
but but it really it helps me, it either it provides like an escape from my own thing at the time, or by me just sharing a little snippet, they've shared something in return that helped me.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. The pandemic, the last 3 or 4 years has shaken a lot of us in a lot of ways. And it sounds like at once you had a lot going on. But
Yes.
what helped you and anchored you was your community and being able to create. Because that's what you are. You're an artist. Like you're an artist, you're a scientist. And like that exchange by like servicing someone else sounds like it ended up bringing you stuff you didn't even expect.
Yes, absolutely. And
Mhm.
it was not what I was thinking. Like I said, every stage in my business, I'm like wow, Lord, like this is nothing but God, because I didn't see
Mhm.
myself doing hair initially. I didn't see
Yeah.
myself owning a salon. I definitely didn't see myself furthering my education within the industry to now really focus on science,
Mhm.
and I'm just excited for whatever is coming next because I just see the evolution and I feel like I am walking in my purpose and I love talking about anything that has to do with hair with anybody
Mhm.
that'll listen.
Well, we're listening, and I can't wait to share this because you not only did you give us knowledge, but you gave us hope. And I have a lot of I work I'm a therapist and I work in a middle school in DC, and a lot of my girls aspire to be licensed cosmetologists. So what advice could you give to maybe someone who is looking into the industry, but maybe they're overwhelmed because they're like, well, there's so many stylists. Like, how do I start? What would you say to them?
That yes, there are so many, but they're not you. Like you cannot put a price tag on your authenticity. Like people need whatever it is that you have to offer and they don't know what that is unless you put it out there.
Mm,
So imposter syndrome I think has been such a new word of the culture and in our generation, and especially when it comes to social media. The second you plug into any of these apps, there's somebody that's doing something that either you thought of or you wanted to do and then you feel like, ah, damn, like now I can't do it. But that should not
yeah.
discourage you because there's
Mm,
enough to go around. Okay,
yes.
they may be doing it, but you put your own spin on it. You put your little finesse that's going to make it like your own, and people will need it. And you just don't know unless you try it.
Mm. I love that. And it doesn't even that can apply to any of us in different industries, not
Mhm.
just those who are pursuing being a licensed cosmetologist. That I
Mhm.
received that too because even as I create content, I'm like, "Oh, but I don't have the following or I don't, I'm not whatever." We start to compare, but it's just like,
Mhm.
"Wait, there's only one Brianna. God made me so different in so many ways and Ebony you too." So thank you for that.
Yes, and
Encouragement.
it's so true, and especially if you are a Christian faith,
Yeah.
you also have to realize that that negative idea that's nothing but the devil, and the devil
Nothing
does
but
not want to see you do well. Okay,
mm.
so are you going to side with the devil and not walk in your purpose, or are you going to just say, I'm canceling out that negative thought, and I'm gonna push forward, and I'm gonna make sure that I do what I'm called to do on this earth?
Yes. So we gotta be careful what we believe and what we,
Hmm.
listen to and things like that. So,
Yeah.
Ebony, thank you so much for your wisdom, and I'm excited. I'm actually planning on, coloring my hair this week.
Oh, are
Um
you?
Yes, okay. So I'll show you pictures later, but I'm
Yes.
thinking of like a ginger red. I wanna go red, I think.
Oh, yes. Does it
So
look like you have color in your hair now?
I do, like, the ends are kinda reddish. That's amazing that she can see that. But,
Mhm.
yes, I had color. I love dark hair, but sometimes I'm like, "You know what? I'm bored." I would like
Yeah,
a little something vibrant. I want something vibrant.
absolutely. Yeah, and as long as you have talked it over with your stylist, and I'm sure, like you said, that she knows the integrity of your hair and she knows
Mhm.
how you keep up with it at home so that
Yeah.
she feels comfortable doing it and you
Mhm.
understand that it takes work on your end after getting it, go
Yes.
for it.
Yeah, and I love that you said that. You have to really consult with yourself too. It's like, am I financially ready and able and willing to do the maintenance that's gonna require what I want now?
Right.
Yeah. And I'm
Because,
ready. I'm ready now because usually I'm like, "Oh, I just go in for my trims every 3 months and I'm done."
oh, no, ma'am. It's deeper than that with having color, especially something in the red family, because reds and coppers, they fade faster than just about any other color. So you
Oh,
have to realize that now I'm going to have to go in maybe every 8 to 12 weeks to get
yeah.
some sort of I call it a color injection or like a color boost to make sure that
Yeah.
the color is still vibrant.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to become dull,
Mhm.
and you got to make sure you're getting those ends trimmed and that you're keeping it hydrated and
Yeah.
conditioned.
And like you said earlier, I'm gonna have to get product that is quality that can take care of that. So Cecred, you recommend Cecred
Oh, yes,
for all?
absolutely.
Okay.
Maybe not the whole line for at home, but absolutely the clarifying if you are coming out
Write this
of like
down, y'all. Write this down, y'all.
yes. because each product, of course, has its own function, right?
Yes.
But for like consistent use, the hydration shampoo, 10 out of 10 is
Okay.
fine. The deep conditioner is really good. I have not tried the hydrating conditioner just yet, but I've heard great things about it. So without me even trying it, I'm going to say you need to do the hydration shampoo and hydration conditioner.
Okay.
And so I never recommend protein treatments for you to do yourself at home, but
Mm,
theirs is like a rice protein based, and it's
okay.
very gentle. I think that that's a safe one to say if you can't make it into the salon, that's a good one to have at home. And then to follow up using your conditioner, afterwards. And then for your leave-in, I do love the sealing lotion and the nourishing hair oil mixed together. I think
Mm,
it's really good, but it's all about mixing it the right way, where if your hair gets oily, you're not going to do too much, or
mhm,
if your hair is color treated, you may want to do a little bit more,
mm.
so that will take a little getting used to figure out what's the right formula, but mixing the two together is like chef's kiss.
Wow. Y'all, listen, she just gave me a whole treatment plan. Okay. And she
Yes,
gave you one too.
yes.
So she's not just saying it because she's a fan of B, which I
Mhm.
am as well. She is telling the truth about based off of her experience and the science
Yes,
behind these products.
it's the science for
It's
sure.
the science.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay, Ebony, thank you
But
so much.
you
How
need to
can we
right. At the end of the day, I always tell people what you put in your hair is what you're going to get out of it. Okay.
mm,
So if you're using Cantu products, and I'm not saying anything's really wrong with Cantu, but
yeah,
I don't recommend it.
yeah,
Things on that's a drugstore brand,
drugstore.
you're going to get those type of results. If you want
Mm,
quality salon quality results with lasting, like, fortification of the hair, lasting shine, you got to spend a little more money on quality products. So what you put in it is what you get out of it.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Ebony. Now, how can we follow you? Where can we follow you to get this content? Because y'all, she put some good content out here.
Thank you, girl. I actually am about to shoot some content as soon as we hang up. So, you know, the Beyonce's Edge drops I just got yesterday. So I was like, I need to go
Ooh,
open the box and see what that's about.
yes,
But you can follow me on Instagram on my hair/personal page, which is Hairista. So that's hair and an ISTA. Or on my salon page at HAIRISTA STUDIO. Yes.
perfect.
And
And
then I'm
we'll
also
we'll
on
we'll show
TikTok
that
and YouTube. Everything is Hairista, the same name across
everything.
the board. Hmm.
Yes. Okay, perfect. And I will put that across the screen so y'all guys subscribe to her, follow her, comment, engage
Oh,
with her. And if you're in Hampton, the Hampton Roads area, Hampton, Virginia, please stop by and book
yeah.
her for whatever you need because she's amazing and we appreciate you, Ebony.
Oh, thank you. I so appreciate you. Thank you for the opportunity, and I really enjoyed this. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Take care, everybody.